Hello and welcome. Today we have this special Facebook Live that I am actually doing from my home, just readjusting the phone camera a little bit so that we can both be in focus. And this is with Misty Henkel, who
Hello.
Many of you will know. If you don't know, you should know her. And she features on my podcast, the Joyful Frugalista podcast. So she's podcast guest number 18. That's right. And she's been a fabulous guest for many reasons, but also because she tells everyone to listen to the Joyful Frugalista podcast. And there's a big tip for you if you're ever a podcast guest.
Oh, yeah, tell everybody. Tell everybody. So I'm forever just sending the link out, and everybody knows number 18 is the best. If you haven't heard it yet, there's clearly, well, you're missing out. But number 18 is the best. Number 2, I hear, is going very strong. So there's a bit of a competition happening in there between me and number 2.
Well, I have to be honest and say number 2 is very good.
Yeah, number 2 is winning.
Number 2.
So clearly I'm not getting the word out to enough. I have to keep going with
it. Number 2, which is Late Starter Fire, I think half of the reason she's winning is because she wrote a blog post about it.
Yeah, okay, mean blogs. I just use my word of mouth. But oh, don't worry. It's going to make it up. I'm going to make up the space. Look, I've got a group sales class, Serena, as you know. Well, you're in it.
I'm in
it. You do know.
I'm one of the members.
Right? And I usually work on, when it comes to one of the questions I ask to people about customers and clients, because people come to me all the time and they say, Misty, I need more customers, I need more clients, I need more sales, I need more money. And I'll go, great, how many customers you currently got? I don't know. How many do you need? I don't know. What's missing? I don't know. So based off that, I work on what's called the Magic 500. Okay, here's your goal for the year. Let's just get 500 clients. Let's just get 500 people know who you are. Well, I've moved that. I've gone, YouTube has won 1 million subscribers. So I'm looking to get 1 million in the group. Look, when I get 1 million in the group, I'm going to beat number 2 and start a fight. I'm going to beat her. More people will know about number 18. That's
excellent.
How it's going to be.
Which reminds me, I haven't actually introduced you, Misty, other than saying you're on the podcast. So Misty...
They don't know who I am?
They don't know who... Not everyone will. Some will.
Maybe not everyone's seen number 18.
So Misty is a sales and networking coach. She is author of the book...
Overcoming Obscurity. Sorry, I was just noticing this in the pictures as we're looking. How cool is that? Overcoming Obscurity. I should get cups made too. Overcoming Obscurity. How to make more money in the marketplace. How to get noticed in the marketplace. You can make more money. So basically, it's how to get known, and then by default, people will want to buy from you instead of someone else that sells a similar product.
And we were talking about her sales class, which for 1 year costs
$75 for 12 months. Come on in. You will learn something, I promise you.
And hello to the lovely Ming, who's written High Network Queen and Frugal Champion. Hello, lovely Ming. It's so lovely you can tune in to watch this. And so there are many things we can talk about with Misty. And on the podcast, we talk about networking, we talk about sales. But today we're going to talk about something which in sales parlance is called the spousal objection. And in simple terms, this is, and I use this as a negotiating tactic, but when I don't necessarily want to buy something or I want to give myself a bit more strategic space to think about it. And I say, oh, so Misty, you've got sales classes, do you? How much?
Yeah, $75 for the year.
Oh, okay. Look, I just need to go and ask my husband about that.
Yeah, okay. So
that's the
but it could be anything, right? It gets you out of things because people don't. So it's going to get you out of anything that you want to do when you sort of deflect it off to somebody else. It is designed to get you out of it. Here's what happens though. Sometimes is like for that you'd walk away and go, why? Why did I say that? We get in such a habit of trying to deflect that price thing. Really, the reason why it's said more than anything else is when we get this really good idea that we want to buy something and we've gone to all the trouble to do the research and we know it's exactly what we want. Oh my God, the price is amazing. Like all of it, regardless, once we find out the price and everything else, which might be more or less than what we originally thought, our brain does this switch that says, yeah, I don't know if you're very good at, I don't know if I'm that good at making up money decisions. So I'll tell you what, I'll hold off. And it's a form of procrastination. So actually our brain does a switch to give us an excuse that nobody's going to counter us on, so that we can go away and have a procrastinate on that thing to see if it's a good idea or not.
Look, I actually use it as a formal strategy. Like it's not even just a procrastination thing. And if it's not hubby, it'll be I need to ask the committee, I need to ask the person in charge, I need to ask my boss. I don't have a boss at the moment, but I am my boss. But I need to ask my boss, need to ask someone. I need to get the committee on board. And and I think I might have even written this in my book, I'm not sure, but I use that as a formal negotiating tactic to avoid making a decision then and there. Because in a lot of times you buy things because you're in that buying mode.
Yep.
And so to give myself a bit of distance, like even when I'm in a shop and I want things, like unless I've written it down, I'm going to the store to buy this particular thing and I'm going to come out with it.
Yep.
Like if it's just something I've seen, I'll often look at it and go, do I need it? Do I not? I'm about 50-50. I'll leave it and I'll walk away. And 9 times out of 10, I will forget about it.
Yeah.
So I use that. I need to talk to my husband. I need to talk to the committee. I need to talk to whoever.
Yep.
As a way for me to see how I actually feel about that product.
And for others, so that's one way that we use it. The other way is to completely and utterly get us off the hook, knowing that the other person is not going to challenge us on it. I'll give you an example, right? When my boys were little, so Jack was 2 and Noah was 1, right? Or maybe even 2 and 3, My parents would come across from wherever they were living at the time. It would be hours and hours. They'd come across and they'd say, at 7 o'clock on Friday night, we're all going to go out to dinner at Gungahlin for Chinese. And we lived on the other side of town, which was 30 minutes, which isn't a problem, except that it's 7 o'clock on a Friday night. We've got 2 small children and we were the only ones with the small children. And the little ones want to get up and they want to run around. They don't particularly like Chinese.
And they'd be hungry by 7 o'clock.
That's right. And they're tired because they've been in daycare a week and so tired and cranky, and I just didn't want to do it. So when I was honest, and I'd say, look, the boys are tired. We don't want to. They want to go to bed. We want to see them, spend some time with them. And I wanted my parents to come out. And go, no, we're too busy. We're too busy. You'll have to come to us. So whenever I was honest, I was the worst person in the world. Everybody threw a tantrum on the whole thing. Like literally had so many different family members say, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't come out. You're so rude. And Mum, come over and whatever. So I would turn around and I'd say this, I'd really like to, Mum, but really Simon and I, we can't afford it. Here's what she says. She'd go, oh no, completely understand. No, it's all right. You know what? Your father and I will make a special effort. We'll come out tomorrow and we'll come and see the boys and we'll see you because we understand. So they didn't offer to buy us dinner. They just completely let us go entirely. Everybody had a great night over there. We had a great night in with the kids. We didn't have to drive across town. I didn't have to listen to everybody complaining because I didn't make the kids sit down quiet enough in a Chinese restaurant when they were tired and cranky. And my parents come over to visit. But isn't it interesting? The moment you use that money one, everybody lets you off the hook. They completely understand.
Yeah, the money one's an interesting one.
And they don't come back to you on it.
Because in the circles where I used to be, it wasn't a valid excuse because everyone knew I had a good job, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
right.
different now because I'm in the startup phase, so I can say, oh, money's a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
Like it is and it isn't. Like I'm not producing the same level of income that I used to in my stable public service job, but financially we're actually in a better position.
Funny though, isn't it?
But I can actually use that in a valid way now, but I couldn't when I was
But we'll still find the money
full-time.
for what we want.
Oh yeah, always.
I used this with my sister-in-law the other day. I said, now, assume that you're lower than broke, like really not a cent, no one will lend you any money, you've got nothing, right? I said, now, if my Jack, so your nephew, was to call you up and say, Auntie Liz, I'd really love for you to take me out to the movies today. Could you come pick me up? And then I only got to there. She turned around, she said, oh, Misty, I'd find the money. I'd take him. Isn't that funny, right? Because you find what you need for that thing that you desperately want that becomes suddenly important as well. So it allows us off the hook. It allows us, we'll justify it all day long when we get what we want, whether we spent it on the right thing or not. We just get us off the hook. So coming back to this, the spousal objection, how you get around it.
Yeah, okay. So I've said, look, Misty, love the idea of your $75 a year sales courses. I've just got to ask my husband, Neil.
Great. Excellent. I agree. Now, what do you think Neil will say about that?
Oh, Neil will say, look, honey, just buy what you want.
I know, right? So here's how you do it, right? And see, because we're at the Joyful Business Club, this is about selling something, right? And it forces the customer to make a decision on the spot, right? Because picture in their head is they've suddenly lost confidence in themselves to make a good decision about money. And the truth is they had a good decision or they wouldn't have been asking you in the first place, right? And it's your job is to not let them off the hook or they'll procrastinate for the rest of their life. They get to the end of their days and they go, if only I had done that one thing I wanted. So you ask them just straight up, great, what do you think he'll say?
So in this case, I said something positive. What about if I came back with something negative?
Yeah, go for it.
What about if I said, Neil would say, look, that sounds like a bit of a waste of money. You know how to sell. You're doing it already.
Yep. And what do you say?
Well, yeah, that's true, but there's still a few areas where I don't feel as confident.
Excellent. Why don't I just sign you up then?
Okay.
All right, so we fast track that. But there's two sections to this. One is you ask the question, what will he say? So you agree first. I agree. You should ask the question. This works on anything. Let's say you're selling luxury cars. Oh my God, I absolutely love it. I've got to get that car, right? I've just got to talk to my husband about it, right? Hey, Belinda, I've just got to talk to my husband about it. So I agree. You should talk to your husband about it. What do you think he'll say, right? And it's either going to be just get it or he's going to say no, right? But the secret is you ask the question and then you be absolutely silent so the customer can think about what you asked and the customer is the next person to speak. You are not allowed to speak before the customer, right?
Okay.
At all.
This is hard for people like me. Hi, Belinda. Who like to talk. I really like to talk. Have you noticed I like to talk?
Yeah, I like to talk too, right? So I run a class on being silent for 12 minutes. Like, I only want you to be silent for 12 minutes because the customer's not going to last that long. Now, feel free to write in the comments, what's the story behind the 12 minutes? I'm not getting into it right now, but I'll get you on the phone. We'll have a little discussion about 12 minutes. It's a pretty funny story. But hey, I'm going to use Belinda since she's on. I'm going to use her as an example. This works beautifully in a text message even. So Belinda's in class and she hears me say this often. And she sent me a photo of some text messaging with a potential client and a little while ago. And she said, hey, check this out. So potential client writes her and says, yeah, I really like it, Belinda. I've just got to talk to my husband about that. So Belinda wrote back and she said, and what do you think he'll say? And the beauty of text messages, well, you're silent on the other side. There's nothing more that you can say. You can't go in any features or benefits or anything like that because you literally just have to wait for them to respond back. She wrote back, and here's what she wrote back. She wrote back and said, oh, no, I've got absolutely no problem with the program. I just like to keep him informed with everything that I'm doing. See? The answer could be something like this. I've just got to speak to my husband about that. And what do you think he'll say? Oh, well, I just need to know which card am I supposed to use because he was doing the banking this week.
Yeah.
Or it might be, oh, no, because I'm checking because I want to get it for the 15 nieces and nephews for Christmas. Ooh, didn't know that one was coming. It could be, actually, he's going to say no because he says no to everything that I want. And then if you still remain silent, it allows the customer to turn around and go, actually, since he says no to everything and I want it, I'm going to do it. So it is a matter of, if you remain silent, the customer, you become like a sounding board for them and the customer will actually work it out in their head. What were they going to talk to them about? What do they think that the answer was going to be? What's their response to that particular answer? And they will track themselves through an entire conversation and then talk to you about the end result. So you don't, the longer you remain silent, even if they've started chatting about it, just keep being silent. So they can work it out, and then here's the great thing: they will have made an informed decision as to whether or not they're buying or not. Informed, just because you allowed them the space to actually think it out and not have any particular conversation about it as well.
I just want to acknowledge we've got Lord Joe online as well. Hello, Joseph McGrail Baytup. Thank you for joining us. He's the guy from he does the voiceovers, right? He's the voiceover guy.
He's the voiceover.
He's got his own trivia program now too on Monday nights. So he's a star in his own right now. So
he is, because as soon as you said that, I've gone, and I'm reading the name, but I didn't get it until you said it. Hello.
But so let's move on as well and go back to this example. So, I've said, okay, Misty, I've just got to ask my husband.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yep, excellent, Serena. I agree with that. What do you think he's going to say about it?
Look, I guess he's going to say to me, I think it's a little bit expensive.
Yeah. Okay, and what do you say, Serena?
Well, this is what I'm asking you in terms of how we deal with this. And I'd probably say, well, I think like for a whole year that's actually quite good, but just money's quite tight at the moment. So I guess he's going to ask me why I think I need a sales class.
Yeah. Don't know. Why do you need it?
That wasn't what I was expecting you to say.
No.
No, because I was hoping to get more revenue from my business.
Well, if that's what you're after, then that's what we're aiming for inside the $75. See how I just keep being silent? I'm just putting it all back on her. So just remain silent. So the customer, and it allows the customer to make her own decision. I'm not going to convince her. I'm not going to look for features and benefits. I'm not going to see what I consider a feature and benefit may not be a feature and benefit for you. In which case, if I continue to talk, I know what I'm going to do is go back to her thoughts. Like, how do I get her back? So I'm actually just going to remain silent mostly and let you make up your mind. And it doesn't matter which way you go, so long as I let you make it. If we push someone to buy before they're ready, then there'll be a certain amount of buyer's remorse that sits behind that. And I'm really against buyer's remorse. So buyer's remorse comes about when we've bought something just before we're ready for it. Now, we could have ended up, and this happens a lot in training programs. You know, when you go to a training program and they say, oh, and because you're here, I've got this great new program, and because you're here, and if you buy today, it's half price. And you think, oh my God, I really like the idea of that, but I don't have the cash on me. If I wish I had known. And you end up buying it, but you feel a bit bad about it, right? You feel bad in your stomach and your head, and you think, oh my God, I'm just going to do it. Now, you can get that training course, do it, and discover it was the greatest thing that you absolutely needed. And yet still in the pit of your stomach, there's that little bit that's just like, but why'd you have to make me feel so bad about it? Why?
Really?
Yeah, so that buyer's remorse kind of just sits there. So we go, oh no, it was the best ever. I mean, I didn't like how I had to buy it, but I mean, it was the best ever. It was good for me. It was a good decision in the end. But you still feel a bit crummy about it. Whereas this is about put it all back on the customer, just hold the silence so that they can make an informed decision. And here's what I find is that mostly no one comes in and goes, I'll just buy it because I feel bad. They don't anymore. Because if you have a conversation with them, and I say it's a cost, like with everyone that I'm speaking to, we run a class on it's a cost, not an investment. Right? So it might be, let's say it's coaching, right? Let's say it's money coaching, right? I'm sure it's an investment to their future, but the truth is it comes at a physical cost that's going to come out of your bank account, and you're going to see it.
This is interesting because a lot of people do like to talk about it being an investment in yourself.
It's a sales tactic. It's a sales tactic to trick people into buying now. So, oh, well, it's not actually going to cost me anything. It's investment. That's right. But actually, and then you wonder why when you open up your bank account, you go, what's all that money gone to? Oh, that was that thing I was buying. Oh, that investment. Actually, is a physical cost. And if you talk about money and you talk about money and just go, look, here's what it is. It costs this much. And it could be a $300 training course with me. So I run $300 classes on introduction to networking classes, right? Costs $300. It will cost you $300. That's coming out of your bank account. That's what it costs you. I'm sure it's an investment. Like, I mean, I can actually say, yes, it's an investment because it'll do these other things, right? But the truth is it's an actual cost. And it's costing you money. Now, as a result, because I'm talking about money, it's a price, it's a cost. And it's like it's a thing. It's just a thing. Everything costs money. And because I say that and bring it out openly, the other person goes, right, so that's how much it's going to cost me. Now they start to feel more comfortable about the person that they're speaking to because they're actually going to not avoid the topic of money.
You know, there's so many times when there's courses and it just takes you so long to get to how much it costs. Like it's got this, like you're already interested, right? Because I wouldn't be interested in it unless I was looking at it. Like, you know, like, because usually I know the facilitator or the person, I have a rough idea of the topic. So I'm already there and I'm scrolling down and I'm interested. And I find this particularly with Facebook posts, there's this trend amongst coaches. I was facing the worst day of my life. Everything went to whatever. And then I had this breakthrough. And then I realized, you know, little funny emoji this and funny emoji this and funny emoji this. And then it goes, like, I'm a speed reader. I read really fast. But even I'm like, I get about halfway down. I'm like, yeah, but how much does it cost?
Just get to the point.
Like, how much does it cost?
We have to press the go button.
When does it start?
Yeah.
How many weeks?
Yeah.
What does it involve? Like, I know it's going to be a great breakthrough. I got that. I've been following you on Facebook for how long? I know what it's about. But yeah, it's like people feel the need to just talk about everything.
Yeah. And look, in the business world and other sales training, they'll actually say, you know, list the features and benefits so that they know, so that they can choose to buy. No, if a customer says, how much is it? Now, if they said to me, Misty, how much is it for your introduction to networking class? I'll just say $300. I won't say anything else, right? Or to one of your classes, I'll just say $300, right? Now, I don't even know what class that they're asking about. And I'm just going to say, it's up to them. Now, if I go silent, it's up to them to ask the next question. So that they do. Okay. They ask the question. Now, I've had other people sign up and say, yes, I need the introduction to networking class. Yes, great. And I'll say, it's $300. There's the link. And then I just go silent. Now, I've had them sign up and then go, now what do? I don't give them the times, the dates, how long it goes for, any of the topic, nothing. Because they can ask that, and they might have pressed the button and gone, oh crap, I should have asked all of that. Oh no. But the truth is customer mostly wants what they want. They've done a lot of research. They already know what they're after. And if they believe that you can deliver that to them, they don't need features and benefits. They just need the price.
People like me often ask lots of questions. So that's probably what I do. I'd probably say, well, actually, what does this involve?
Yeah. So, and that's fine if that happens. So depending on what it is. So if you're actually asking me, I can get into that. But if you're just asking for the point of, ask. So there are some people who will ask lots of questions. Now, if anyone knows anything about DISC, the DISC people, right? The C people are the compliance people, and think, worst case scenario, Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, right? They're the but how people. Now, compliance people think accountants, financial planners, lawyers. They follow a list of rules in order to help the client get the outcome that they're after. So accountants, they'll ask a particular set of questions. They'll put the money in relating to those questions, and it spits out the answer at the end. So it's an equation, right? So it's rules related. So these are very rules related people. Now, if one of those people, rules related person, came to me and said, hey, Missy, I want to do sales classes. How much is it? Let's say I picked, let's say the $75 a year one, right? $75 a year. Okay. How is that going to help me with the sales? And if I keep getting the how question, I actually don't get into the how. Someone says, how is that going to help me? Here's my answer. You'll have to come to class and find out. Right? Now, when I remain silent, it leaves it up to the person to go, oh, see, because here's the truth is I'm confident in what I do. And I can't explain it, but I know that you'll move at the end. Right? So I don't actually have to explain it. And a how person, actually, you can't explain it to them either because they're never going to get it. And mostly a C person, if you're the seller, you can't sell it to them. Someone else can. So if you're a how, right? I'd say, Serena, you'd have to come to class and then you'll have to see. Now you get to make a decision on, do I trust her to get the outcome or not? And if you're the high Sheldon Big Bang Theory type person, you might go, yeah, I'm not moving for you. Now, what's interesting is if someone else comes to class and goes, oh my God, she's amazing, this is what I did, you'd move because they said it.
Testimonials. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called joint testimonials. So someone else will move you, and that's fine because you're not my direct customer. An early adopter. So someone who goes, oh my God, Missy, you know what? If you said that you're doing it, Missy, I'm going to sign up. So those ones that sign up early then sell to the next group of people, which might be which is called the early majority. The early majority and then the late majority. Yeah, so the early majority. So they're the ones that are sort of heading up the top of the curve, like the most amount of people. And then the late majority are the ones who buy, not because an early adopter tried it, but because they've heard now a number of people have tried it. And then they'll buy it because, 20, 30, 40 people have been talking about you, therefore I'll test it out now. So we, sellers, can only directly sell to an early adopter, who says, oh, gosh, I know you, I like you, I'm confident with you, I'll hand my cash over to you. And then and they tend to fit in the DIS section, but the C's, it'll be someone else will sell on your part for you.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because so often we think that we have to provide lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of detail to these people.
Yeah. Not anymore. Sales has become so easy. I don't know. I mean, maybe it didn't. No, in the past, before all this internet, before all this extra research, before being able to buy all this extra stuff online, and this is honestly going back only about 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, I used to work at Fantastic Furniture. That's right, I had a 7-year gap. So I worked at Fantastic Furniture, and people would come in if they needed a mattress, right? They'd come in, they'd say, all right, my mattress is uncomfortable, I'm not sleeping very well. And I would talk to them about mattresses. 7 years later, so going back, say, 4 years ago, so 7 years later, I went and I tested it out again. I went to Fantastic Furniture. I worked there for a year and a half, right? On weekends, most amount of people come in, and anyone that wanted, and I went to the bed section because I wanted to test out the mattresses, because then people would just say, lie on this one, tell me what yours is, and, and we'd go through things, right? Now they would look online at night, and they would pick their mattress. They'd come in and say, I want this particular mattress.
And what would you say to them?
Well, then I'd ask, how did you pick it? Who is it for? And I'd want to have a discussion to make sure it was the right pick. And here's what they would say. No, just tell me who sell me that mattress. They actually didn't want a customer's opinion. Salesman's opinion, because they've done all their research. So they actually didn't need a lot of talking to. They just wanted, here's what's interesting though, right? And I tested this for a year and a half, every weekend for a year and a half, is they could have bought these particular mattresses. So it was always down to a $99 mattress. $99 mattress is a toddler's first mattress with springs in it for them to get used to it, but it's going to be wet a number of times with them wetting through, and so you're going to throw it out. Plus, very lightweight springs because toddlers are light, so it's not for an adult to be sleeping on it for any particular length of time, and there's not much padding, so you feel the springs, right? So they'd always be buying it for their 15-year-old son. Okay, it's not quite the right mattress for that, and they didn't want to hear it. They've gone, tell me who'll sell that to me. What's interesting was, since they found it overnight, they did their own research and they knew it was in store. They could have just clicked and collected. They could have bought it online, gone the next day, gone straight to the warehouse, picked it up and taken it home. But they never did. And so I was testing out week in and week out, why are they coming out instead of pressing click and collect? And the truth is people are tired of the online, like the constant online experience where they're talking to a robot, they're not talking to an actual person, and they wanted to hand their cash over to someone who said thank you. And when I questioned them, like, who is it for? They didn't want to be questioned on it. So they're like, just tell me who it was. When I turn around and say, yes, absolutely, I can get that, customers were happy. Now, I knew that it probably wasn't the right thing, but they were happy. On the times that I questioned them, they get a bit antsy on the whole thing, and I'd either just go, oh, no, it's fine, I'll do it, or I'd find someone else to make them feel better.
And is this, do you think, because they thought you were trying to do a bigger upsell?
Maybe. And then they've already done their research. But the truth is they've done their research based on what they wanted to research, which means your features and benefits aren't helpful to them at all, because they've done their research based on what they think. And in a lot of instances, people think that the money equals the outcome, and it doesn't. And so in those instances, I had to let the customer decide if the money equaled the outcome for them. And it actually may have. It might have been, I just need it for the next 2 weeks and that's it. That could have been it. Honestly, they could have just said that too. But people aren't necessarily, they're not going to give their life story out to a brand new stranger. So for whatever reason, because people are uncomfortable talking about money, therefore it's an issue, right? But in most instances today, customer already thinks they know. So in instances where I've sold classes, what I do is they'll say, yep, great, I need to sign up for that. Great, sign up. Take their money and get them to sign up and go, now here's what's involved. If you list the features and benefits or the steps when somebody's excited before they've paid, often you'll talk them out of it, right? So when it comes to sales training, I might say, all right, so this, and this is involved. And they're going, oh, I don't want to do that. It sounds really hard. It's not. None of my sales stuff is hard. But pretend that it is, right? Well, coaching is really good for that. If you list, oh, I'm going to, $1,200 for the next 3 months. We're going to do 12 coaching calls, and then I'm going to send you some follow-up emails. You're going to have some homework to do, and I'm available to talk on the phone. Customer might be going, oh, I don't need all that. I just want to be better next week. And the truth is the customer's paying for the outcome. They're not paying for 12 months worth, 12 sessions full of all this stuff. So if you say it's $1,200, they sign up, you go silent, you let them sign up. And you say, now here's what's involved. You're going, really? 12 sessions? I didn't want it in 12 sessions. Excellent. Well, then for you get 2 days. We'll do 2 full days across the weekend. You'll be fixed and we're good to go. It still costs the same amount of money. It's just send out differently per that particular client, because it turns out the client's not after the stuff. They're just after the outcome, right? So there's a way to do it. So yeah, don't list the features and benefits. Your features and benefits are different to what the customer is after anyway, almost in all occasions these days.
Well, this is all fascinating. So how can people find you, Misty? I know there's a certain podcast they can find you on.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So The Joyful Frugal is the number 18. That one's mine. I am on Facebook. I do not have a website. It's been in the works for 8 years. Takes too much brain power for me. I'm terrible on LinkedIn, although I'm there, but I'm terrible on LinkedIn. So I have a Facebook page. It's called Misty Henkel, being my name. I now have a Facebook business page, which I still haven't quite worked out how to use, but it's called Misty Henkel Sales Trainer, and you can find me there. So I do go back and forth and try and find. But from there, I'm easily found in Messenger, phone number, email address. It's all there. I don't know. I'll go in and I'll put all those details in the chat at the end. And I'm out and about and I'm networking, but I'm really accessible. I chat to everybody. Nobody's off limits to me. I chat to everybody, and then find me through Messenger as well. Makes it really easy. Grab contact details, jump on the phone. I think that's it.
Excellent. So make sure you leave them in the comment section of this.
I will. That much I know about Facebook. I'm learning that.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to chat. As you can tell, we chat a lot.
Yeah, I love it. She says, you could do this from your house. No. We could do it like an interview. I'll sit with you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to do it in person today. So Thank you very much. And just the big takeaway from this is if someone says, look, love it, just I want to ask my husband or my wife, or my partner, my cat, my dog, my boss, my committee, whatever, don't just leave it there. No. Feel free to come back and then ask that question, what do you think they'll say? Because that'll give you more information about what the issue is.
Yep, that's absolutely it. Just say, what do you think they'll say about that? And then go absolutely silent. The customer has to be able to interpret the answer that you've just given them. And then they have to be able to work it out for themselves.
Yeah.
So don't give them hints or tips. Let them work it out for themselves, and just wait to answer the next question that comes up. If a question comes up, it could just be, I don't have to ask anybody. I don't even know why I said it. That happens a lot now. They go, I don't even know why I said that. I don't need to ask anybody. You know what? I'll just do it. Makes them feel good because they've been able to, you've helped them make a decision they wanted to make in the first place.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. So happy selling and happy Christmas.